What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Achieve Podcast. Today, I'm introducing my friend, best friend, co-founder, roommate of 4 years, Jake Jakub. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Jake.
So I am Jake Jakub. So I have been roommates with Jackson for 4 years. We met by chance, both being on the track team at Clemson. We were the only two cross-country recruits, so we just happened to be roommates, and we loved each other at first sight. No, it's good. So I grew up in New Jersey, and athletically, I did everything growing up, and started running. Obviously went to college for it, so that's where I met Jackson. College it wasn't the same as high school, and I could get into everything about that. I'm sure we'll get to that eventually. But after 2 years, I ended up not continuing with that, and that's honestly why I feel like entrepreneurially I just got turned on. I mean, Jackson did so many things freshman year that make me realize that a 9-to-5 isn't my dream, because I thought it was when I got to college. I was like, all I want to do is work a job and come home and watch the History Channel and go to bed. And then he kind of changed my mind on that. And then once I stopped running, I had so much free time, and the amount of ideas that just came into my head and the amount of work I put in with different things was insane. And most of them weren't worth it, but you can't succeed without failing. So I don't regret anything I tried to do. And now it's something that actually seems to be going very well. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So many things I'd like to touch on there. First, I'm just going to say, so Jake is the CEO of Achieve, self-proclaimed right now, but I'll give it to him. He had the idea first. Could you just put into your own words what Achieve is to you and where you see it going?
Yeah, for sure. It's weird. As we were saying when I stopped running, when you're on a team and especially when you've been doing the same sport for 6, 7, some people do 10, 15 years in a row, and you're so driven towards one thing, and you're just going for this one goal, and that goal is just not in your life anymore. It's so weird because, I'm still driven athletically, and I worked out every day, and I would still run a bunch, and I would play all these sports, even if it was just like spike ball with the friends, or like, I'm going out and competing, running, lifting, wrestling, all these different things, but it's weird not having a goal like that. Like, you go to the gym every day, and there's still no race coming up.
Right.
And it was really weird. So I was hoping that there would be an app where I could find a community of people that all wanted to chase the same thing. And of course there's going to be people that want different things, but you can find people that want the same thing as you. Sure. Whether they're out in California because you're on an app, or you see someone that's going to the same gym as you every day, and then when you see them at the gym, you're like, hey, I saw your post yesterday. We kind of do the same way. Maybe we should work out together. Maybe that's not really for me. I like to work out alone, but that is what it is, because it's about finding that community of like-minded people, and it's good to have something that is going to hold you accountable even when you don't have a coach. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't know who said it, but somebody said, in the future we're going to have, not time travel, but teleportation. They were talking about teleportation. And this other guy goes, number one, no, we're not. But number two, the internet created that. I could be in California. I'm basically there. I could call California. I can see California. And that's a great thing about the internet. Great thing about apps is that we have that ability. So what do you think? So that's kind of the background, I guess, for you and Achieve. What is it now to you? Where do you see it going?
Yeah, where I see Achieve going, I don't want to give a bullshit answer here. There's a lot of different routes, because people are always going to have goals and dreams. So at first, you hope you find people, maybe if it's just athletically. There's so many different ways it could take off, even if it's just as an app, right? And maybe it's just people athletically have these goals, they're not part of a team, they use it to find each other.
Sure.
And and that could be that. Or maybe it's through what you've been doing, through this podcast, through social media, where people find value in what you provide them, and it's a log for themselves to hold themselves accountable. I mean, I do your action steps every day and genuinely notice a difference. Like, I have told you before, I forgot to bring my journal home, and you know what I didn't do this week? Stay accountable to my goals.
Right.
Like, that
Right.
It just happens. So, however they find that medium, you just hope that everybody that is a part of the community of achievers, really, you hope that they are using it in a beneficial way, and that's where I see it going. I mean, there's ways where you could say, you hope it transitions into learning. Like we put out products for grade school kids, and they learn basic math skills and get badges and whatnot. Like sort of what ABC Math comes into my mind, like something like that.
Right.
Like,
so, what I think I'm hearing you say, which is a great thing. Like an Instagram creator, right? The guy who created Instagram or Facebook, they don't use their own app because they know how harmful it is, right? I think something positive about this is that we are creating what we want to see. Like, we're creating the platform we need.
Yeah.
And just to hear you talk about like where you're coming from with the not running, and then you're like, I need somebody to hold me accountable. I'm not a team. I don't have a coach. That really speaks to me with getting injured,
Mm-hmm.
like you get injured and you're just in this gray space where you're not doing anything, like the coach may say, hey, go get your cross training in 60 minutes today. And you go and you bike 60 minutes. She doesn't know how hard you're biking. She doesn't know how much you're sweating. You could just bullshit all of that, and just be like, hey, I'll get back when I get back.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's holding me accountable. I don't have any goals right now except to get healthy, which is, time and rest, really the only thing that's going to do that. So it's really inspiring me to hear Jake talk about this idea in the first person. And obviously we're two athletic guys, so that's where we're going. But I think there's a whole world of things out there.
Yeah, like people that want to write every day or do yoga every day or
Right.
really something that, as you've been saying, take a small action towards and do it every day because you're going to get so much better at it over time. And it's insane the progress you can see, even in just 2 weeks,
Right.
and then 2 months and 2 years. Like, the amount of just growth you see is exponential. It's amazing.
Right.
I did want to touch on, too, though, where you said it's a product that we need, because I mean, that used to be how products were built. It used to be how entrepreneurs found themselves, because they were like, I need a product, and there's probably 1,000 other people that want it, so let me make it, or let me just make it for myself,
Sure.
and then everybody else will catch on, and they'll start wanting it. But I saw a clip, I think it was Bo Burnham, which, he's not really into business, but it was funny that he said that. But he was talking about Snapchat and sort of some of the other social media companies in Silicon Valley, and he's like, they sit in rooms, like hundreds of them, talking about how they can make a product that kids want, not what they need.
Right.
He's like, you used to have to go to their parents and cater to them and be like, oh, my kid would want this. But now with their phones and technology, it's just what you want, and it's instant gratification, and it's how you can turn kids' brains into a mush of dopamine, which there's good aspects to it, but I think if you can create satisfaction out of something that benefits you, I mean, it just seems like a win-win for everybody.
Right. I think, the sky's kind of the limit there if people want to get better and we're giving them an outlet to get better. There's nothing better than that. And I think that's where the action steps took hold for me. Recently kind of had a couple people mention to me that those action steps were really beneficial to them, that they were following them, which I think is awesome. And I write them every day, like, meaningfully. If somebody's writing this down, they're going to make themselves better. They're going to start reflecting on their past. They're going to start looking to the future. What is an action I can take every day to make myself a little bit better in any aspect of life? And I think that's the whole point, is like, my tagline for this would be, if you want to get better, do something every day to get better, you know?
Right.
Like
you're not going to get better by doing that.
Right, exactly. And you're not going to make some big action one day and it's just going to complete you for the whole week, right? We're just going to take small incremental steps. So I want to ask you, what are your personal goals you're striving for right now? As Jake mentioned, he's a club wrestler now for Clemson, which is awesome just to see you go from running, you know, D1 switch over, different body type, you know, you've gotten bigger in the gym, and then you go and wrestle, and that was really cool to see. Yeah. Maybe athletically and non-athletically.
Sure. Yeah, I guess to start athletically, it's interesting because wrestling's fun, but you know, there's people that have been doing this for years. I'm doing it to stay in shape. It's fun to fuck around in there. I don't know. And do I have goals? Sure. Like, you know, do I want to go out there and win every match? Do I want to qualify for nationals? Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm out there working, and that's part of my fitness goals. So athletically, my goals are sort of a weekly thing at this point, where I want to run 2 to 3 times per week, so a minimum of 2, swim once a week, and then lift 4 times a week, lift or wrestle. I kind of interchange those. You know, so it usually ends up being more when you add them together, but 4. And then the running and the swimming, because I eventually want to do triathlons. And, you know, I think it would be so cool, whether it's like for speed, like an Olympic distance triathlon, or just something like an Ironman, just to say you've done it.
Sure.
I hope they both happen eventually, and it's good to have a date on the calendar and be like, oh, I want to do it by this date, but I don't have that at the moment, so it's like all you can do is make yourself better and make yourself more prepared, which I think is good. Non-athletically, I have a few things going for me, so... you know, entrepreneurially, I it's my only goal to start a business. Like, I need to do that in my life. Yeah. And it's so, like, we've been working on this with you guys and my friends from home, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing everything, and sometimes I feel like you guys are doing everything and I'm doing nothing, but... Every time I think that, either way, I don't care. All I want is to have a product that benefits society.
Right.
Like, I don't care if, you know, maybe I'm the CEO, maybe I make the ultimate decisions. But I don't care if I have the most shares. I just want to make a cool product that everybody likes, and that's going to be my goal. Whether it's achieved or not, that's got to happen. And then there's a few other things, like the president of Beta Alpha Psi, you know, I'm just kind of working to get us gold status nationally. I want to pass my CPA exam by next year.
Sure.
Just
grad school.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the above. Just
start
a couple
grad
of things.
school tomorrow. Yep.
Non-athletically.
Maybe I'll drop out of school if I'm really committed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to show it to the
it's
team.
It's not impossible. It's really not. Like at this point, but 1 semester left, so
right.
You know, I gotta. Might as well just finish.
That would one up all the other stories. You know, like Steve Jobs was out there like 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos like 2 or 3. That would be something for the history books. Yeah, I mean, maybe just for the bit.
Yeah.
You get a following just for that. Like,
hopefully, yeah.
Drops out of college, please invest in me. Yeah. Well, that is, you downplay yourself. Truly, I mean, you just said I have a couple things non-athletically. You're doing great. I mean, you're just going to be an accountant. Once upon a time, Jake told me he wanted to be an accountant and work 9 to 5, as he talked about earlier. And I think we were at practice. We told the story like 100 times, and I was like, "Yeah."
No, I remember.
Okay,
I'm literally tying my shoe, and you were talking about your Roth IRA, right?
Yeah.
Or no, you said you want to be a millionaire, and I was like, just invest in a Roth IRA. You're guaranteed. Like, you'll be a millionaire by 65, and you were like, nah. Like, I was thinking more like 27, and I don't know. My heart kind of skipped a beat. I was like, I thought we were too late for that, you know? I thought, and even now sometimes I'm like, I'm 21, 22, like, I missed out on being a founder, you know, and I know I'm going to be 29 looking back on that, like, you're an idiot. Like, I can be 34 and become a multimillionaire and then lose all of it and then get it all back by 39, you know? Like, who knows?
It could happen.
And it's like you didn't miss out on anything at 22. People tell 50-year-olds you didn't miss out on anything.
Right.
But sometimes it feels like that. And maybe that's a good thing. It lights the fire in you a little bit.
Right.
Like, I just want to... I just got to do something.
Just a touch. Yeah, I mean, that is... yeah, that's very true. I always thought something will happen when the lottery, blow up. I don't know. Whatever it was, I just had like a deep-seated belief.
Yeah.
Probably not the most humble trait, but I was just like, there's something that's going to happen. I'm going to be a billionaire before 30, and I'm 21 now. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I got 9 years left to figure this thing out. I'm not close, but it's also exponential.
And again, how much have you grown in the last 9 years?
Right, exactly. Like if I look at myself prior to college, almost nothing to my name, and I've built it up. Side note on the Roth IRA, I love talking about this because Achieve will become an all-inclusive brand, and I just love to share some knowledge with my fellow 18 to 24-year-olds who are watching this. Roth IRA, investment retirement account is what IRA stands for. You're going to want to get one of those. So you can invest. Your yearly contribution just went up to $6,500 for 2023. It was previously $6,000 since 2019. You can only invest for that year. Well, really you have access to the last year, but they don't want you to know that. You can invest only in that year, and then it gets closed. So moving forward, you can't go back and put money in. What this means is when you put $6,000 in at 18 and you invest that money in S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or just a mutual fund, that money is going to compound your entire life. And then at 65, when you can take it out, 65 and a half, whatever, 69, 70, when you take it out, that money is yours. So the way I'm looking at it right now, I started when I was 18. I'm now 21. That money's just set aside. It's already in there. And when I look at the projections, we're looking at 1.2, 1.4 just from that money. Now, if I continue that over the next couple of years, I mean, we're looking at a ton of money. Yeah. But the key is you got to do it now, because the later you wait, the less that's going to compound. Warren Buffett says,
I mean, there are stats that say, like, if you invest $50 a month starting at 18, you're guaranteed to be a millionaire. And if you invest, like, $500 a month starting at, like, 25, you're, like, not even going to get there.
Right.
It's
right.
crazy. Just because it's compounding on top of itself.
Right.
That's what percent
it's gonna say
does.
Yeah. Warren Buffett said the only magic in the world is compound interest.
Yeah, there's some really cool tax implications to, I guess this would be 401k, because you take the Roth IRA out tax free, but it's like you want to take it out, like say you're making $200,000 a year, you retire so you don't have any income, and then you take it out and it gets taxed so much less because you're in a lower tax bracket now than how your Roth IRA would have been taxed. So sometimes the 401k is better. I mean, maybe you just want to make a huge charitable donation that year.
Sure.
It's a lot of...
Why not? Altruism's never
Don't
bad.
get me started on tax.
I just want to throw that out there. Of course, we're going to probably have a financial episode coming up, dive into all that kind of stuff, but just so everybody's aware out there, you can go to Fidelity. You can go to pretty much any bank, open an account. You can download the app on your phone, make an account, link your bank account, open a Roth IRA, put money in there, and it's just, boom, it's there. Like, it's just that simple. You just got to do it. Also, if your parents just happen to be loaded, you could present them a nice PowerPoint and be like, hey, maybe don't give me $6,000 now, but put it in this account for me later. That's a good selling point, I think I ran one of those with my grandparents back in the day. I was like, instead of a Christmas present this year, I just need you to contribute a sum of money. I have no shame in saying that I did propose it. I don't know if it actually followed through, because it was like we were going to give you money anyway, and I was asking for more, but it's fine. We all start somewhere. Back to you though, Jake. Let's talk about life after college. So you're going to go get a job at one of the big four. If you guys know what the big four accounting firms. And you're going to be working on Achieve at the same time. At what point do you think you would jump ship from your regular day job to go fully work and Achieve?
100,000 users. No, there's no number. It's just sort of. I'm honestly hoping that I can, I have the internship with them this summer. Which,
and who's them?
PwC.
Okay.
Right, and that's hourly, so I'm just gonna work a ton ton of hours. And hopefully work achieve on it during it. Hopefully Tim Ryan doesn't look at that.
Yeah, boss, don't watch
CEO.
this one.
Literally, he's never going to know my name. You do that, and then I have grad school next year where I can work on both at the same time, and ideally never even take the full-time job.
Beautiful.
Would be the goal. Maybe get a signing bonus or something, and then jump out.
Right, right. Just use them.
And it's weird, honestly, because it's the same thing with how I am with Beta Alpha Psi right now, which is like an accounting honor society that I'm the president of here at Clemson, and I have been working hard, and I don't want to say I don't care about it, because I do. Like, I want, and especially just the competitive spirit when we're competing with other schools, I want to win every time.
Sure.
And I get really into it, but sometimes when I'm working on other things, like I'm doing so much for Achieve, and then someone's like, oh, we have to have this meeting, and you need to send a memo, or you need to just set all these things up for this accounting society, and it's like, it just feels so useless. And I don't want to have that happen at PwC also, where I care, I want to succeed, and I am so interested in it. Like, mergers and acquisitions are amazing, and taxes are cool as fuck, but
right.
It's not something that I'm building. I am not providing value to people. I just feel like I'm doing work for people,
right.
or even if I am providing a lot of value, it's not something world changing. It's just perpetuating some cycle that has been going on for so long, and you're not changing anything. It's like the point is to grow as a cumulative society. And sometimes I don't see that happening, and it just doesn't drive me forward.
This is why he's a CEO. I mean, that's a morally correct answer there. Creation is a beautiful thing. Yeah. Once upon a time, I went to a company, a small, mid-sized company, and I interviewed every head of every department, so all your C blank O's, and I asked them what got them out of the bed in the morning. Like, why are they still doing this? Like, you could probably work at a big company.
You probably got a few to second guess themselves.
No, there was a lot of turnover, but I asked them why wouldn't they go work at Microsoft? Why wouldn't they go work at Apple? And they were like, there's just something about being the first one, setting the precedent for this company, and then creating all these, norms for the future that I just love. And it always came back to creating something and then being valued. Like, they felt like they were valued and they were creating something, and that's what made their world go around. They all said it in different ways, because, like, an HR person's not going to talk the same way a computer scientist is going to talk, because he's talking about creating value and, finding answers. And the HR department's talking about, creating value and finding chemistry and hiring the right people and firing the right people. So it was interesting to hear you say that, which I think is the ideal view, And when I'm in the same boat. I think I just came to those conclusions after you'd explained them, where I was more just like, what do I need to do? And do it,
I found it interesting too, actually, like, just another reason to prove, I guess, that creating is the highest order of living. Yeah, because with this whole rise of AI recently,
sure.
And everybody's like, oh, is it going to start taking over jobs? Well, like, yeah, obviously, eventually. Like, say you're a copywriter, you might be a little scared. Right. And then there's things like a logo designer where, like, you're not scared yet, but, it's generating pictures now and things like that. And then eventually you can be a tax expert, but AI already knows the answers. And then eventually, ChatGPT knows a lot about coding. Like, even computer science professionals, it can start taking over that. But the last thing to go is going to be creative stuff.
Right.
And eventually AI might be able to create. Who knows? But that is what, ideas coming from humans, it almost seems like other things can't do that because it's what we want.
Right. How could a computer think about what we want?
Yeah, and it can, take data in and assume that, like, this is what other people have wanted in the past. And I'm sure it would be good at it too, but it just creating things is
It's innately human.
it's so special when you can create something and you see the value that other people get from it. You see the look on their face.
Absolutely.
Just know it.
Yeah, I got told today that somebody wrote down one thing to cut out and one thing to keep going. Real story. It's happened at practice. And it made my day, you know? Just like hearing them talk about it, they're like, yeah, I wrote down my journal. I want to cut out on TikTok. I want to, you know, I want to keep going with my fitness right now. I feel really good. I'm not injured. I want to stay healthy. And it was just like, exactly. Yeah. You know, like
you're
that
like,
is
wow, I made a dent in their life.
Exactly what I wanted you to do, you know? And it's not that I like get satisfaction out of their life, you know? It's more that just like I'm seeing somebody who wants to make themselves better, and I feel like I inspired the change for that, you know? Like their life getting better may not benefit me in any other way except for that satisfaction that maybe I had a little bit of an impact, you know? And I'm not looking for a thank you. I'm not looking for 30 years down the road, you saved my life, right? I'm just looking for a group of people that's like, you know what, I'm committed to this. I'm going to go tell my friend about it, right? And maybe they have more of an impact with someone close to them. And that's the beauty of social media, is actually isn't that intimate, you know? It's broad, and it's actually so... there's so many levels of screens and people that it's not me sitting down and having a conversation with you. It's me putting something out there that's general that could apply to anybody's life, which is awesome. On the other hand, if once I get to know those people, I would love to bring them in, have a conversation with them, see what they're, you know, looking at, get inspired myself through them, and acquire some of their traits, and maybe they can acquire some of mine, you know, equal trade-off. So that's kind of where I see my creation, I guess. Not that you asked, but that's where I'm at right now.
Nice, yeah. I actually, you were talking about getting recognition for it a little bit.
Sure.
And it's weird. It made me think of this scene from Game of Thrones, and this isn't really a spoiler if you're watching it, but somebody comes in with a huge book of every war that has ever happened.
Yeah.
And gives it to Tyrion. And he's like, oh, I bet they painted me as the villain. And then like nobody answers, and he's like, what, was it good? Like they painted me well or whatever? And they're like, no, like you weren't mentioned at all. You know, and he saved the main city like multiple times.
Right.
And you saw the look on his face. He got over it. And it makes you wonder though, like, is he looking for recognition, or did he do it for the good of the realm?
Right.
You know, you
right.
I mean, of course he's a character, so you don't really know, but you kind of have to decide when you're making something. It's like, do you want to be known for it, or do you just want good to come out of it? And I don't think there's harm either way, honestly.
Sure.
For me personally, as I was saying before, I want to see good things come out.
Right. There's a legacy aspect to it, I guess, too, with the name of the Lannister family and everything.
Right.
I mean, I can't lie. I would love to be rich and famous one day. Yeah. You know, we've said it before. Like, it's not I'm not afraid to say that. You know, it's like if someone asked me, would you rather be this or that, poor and not unknown, you know, rich and unknown, rich and famous. The only reason I would say rich and famous is just because if I was famous, I think I could have more of an impact on a greater number of people, which I personally, knowing myself, would think would be a good thing compared to someone else being famous and me having to trust that they're leading our youth in the right way. Like, I trust myself.
There's the other side of it too, where I know we've both watched creator Alex Ramosi before, entrepreneur, great guy, love him if he ever watches. Great dude. But he always says that he's like, I don't care about legacy because everyone's gonna forget you eventually. And you can talk about that, like, oh, some people last 100 years. Well, I mean, eventually, like, humans are going to go extinct.
Right.
So,
Mac Miller said, like, one day God will be forgotten.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're in the minds of humans, yeah.
Right. That's insane.
But that's. I mean, granted, he puts out all those videos too. It's like you're trying to get a name for yourself still. Maybe he just wants to be known so that he can buy companies or whatever. But
I actually watched a video where he said he was looking at Kendall Jenner. And he was like, why is Kendall Jenner at $1 billion and I'm not? And he's like, I think I have better this, that, the other thing than her business-wise. And then he goes, but I always look at somebody who's richer than me and I go, I can learn something from them. And he was like, it's her brand. She has a brand. The family has a brand. She has a name. She has such a presence. And that's why he started making the videos, was just because he needed to make a brand. He realized the value in that. And of course his is, monetary. But I think he's also doing great for people like us who watch him. And I'm like, I'm not buying anything from him. I'm just watching his videos, following him. Like, my one follow isn't going to change his life, but he is impacting mine. So, kudos to that guy.
Have you ever read about how Chanel was founded?
No.
I believe it was Coco Chanel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct.
I'm not actually gonna go into it because I'm gonna botch it. But she was just so. I don't know if it was 1720s or 1920s. I think like 1920s.
I would
honestly.
think so.
But it was in France, I believe, and there weren't female huge business owners at that time.
Right.
And she just fucking did it, And there were so many different intricacies about like, she created this product and everybody liked it, and then she like disappeared for 2 years and came back. And I would highly recommend everybody, watch a video or read about it on Wikipedia.
Where did you come across this knowledge?
I first heard about it, I believe, in The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. And then looked into it more after that.
Gotcha.
It could have been the 48 Laws of Power, which was a better book than Laws of Human Nature, but I think it was the former. So it was interesting.
Gotcha. Well, that is something I'll have to check out for sure.
Yeah, I would recommend.
Let me ask you, what gets you inspired when you have low motivation? Walk me through a day when you're, man, I gotta go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym, really, but I gotta.
So you're talking like long term, or
I'm
just
talking
like
just one day you wake up and you're just not feeling motivated. Just like, man, this feels weird. Maybe you don't have any of those, but maybe just one day you wake up and you're like, man, I don't really want to run right now. I really don't want to go work out or wrestle or do my homework or what do you rely on in that situation?
A lot of the time, I think it is actually thinking about the fact that I'm going to log it. It was the same thing in high school where like we had to log all our runs.
Sure.
And I would be running, and sometimes I would be thinking, I'm like running and I'm like, oh, well, I had this cramp around mile 4, like as I'm on mile 4,
right.
Like making excuses almost. But now it's kind of the opposite where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym, and I'm like, well, I'm going to journal tonight, and I don't really want to have to say that I didn't go to the gym today.
Right.
It is weird. I've recently been in the gym, like halfway through a workout. Like I have no problem getting there ever, but I'll be halfway through a workout, and I'm just like, I kind of want to leave. And I'll be stressed out. I feel like I just have a lot to do, and I'm like, I just want to leave. And a few times I did, but recently I've been much better with, maybe switching from music to a podcast or podcast to an audiobook or whatever of the three. Okay. And it just kind of reframes my mind for the second half of the workout. And it's not like I missed anything, you just stayed there and you did the workout.
Right. Makes the time more productive.
Yeah, I would definitely say, and that's why when I'm not journaling, I feel like I do less good for myself. So I would highly recommend that. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, just to go into journaling a little bit, I started 2 years ago, January 1st, 2020, and I would write one sentence about my day. One sentence. And it's hilarious to look back. It's like I would try to fit so much into one sentence. Like, ran with the boys, and then, went to Chipotle, and then went to a party, and then ran, a double or whatever, one sentence. And then it turned into, what if I just wrote like a paragraph today about how I'm feeling? Because I was mad or upset, something happened, and I was like, I'm just going to write out all my feelings real quick. And I wrote it all down. And it was just like, flushed everything from my head, and I was like, that actually felt pretty good. Like, if I did this every day, I don't think anything would really build up, Yeah. So then it kind of turned into that, and then probably like the darkest times of my life, I would stop journaling, which was always like a sign to me, like something's not right. Yeah. Because like I think last year when I got stress fracture in my tibia, I was like, just totally out of it. I stopped journaling for like a month. There's just a hole in my journal where I just like, I think it was like a month and a half of just nothing. Mm-hmm. And then like to get back into it, I started writing down what I was doing to like rehab every day for a month. I think it was November, and it's just that. Mm-hmm. And then in December, I was like, dude, what am I doing? I got to get back. Like, it's not just about running. It's not just about getting back. Like, I got to start journaling for me, for my mental health, you know? And that's kind of how I get back on the horse, which is really awesome. What do you think about gratitude in terms of journaling? Do you ever write down what you're thankful for?
Did I ever tell you how I got into journaling?
No, please tell me.
So it was actually a book you recommended to me, The Compound Effect. And
I wouldn't have mentioned that book. I wanted to. That's one of my main motivations for this brand.
Amazing.
Compound Effects.
Yeah, it's not even about the compound effect. It's such a bad title.
It's literally.
It's just a really good book about how to make yourself better.
Yeah. It's also included in your membership on Audible if you have one.
Is it really?
Yeah. It was free. Completely free.
Awesome. And he talks about how he got his wife this gift for Thanksgiving one year. He said, on Thanksgiving, I decided every single day I'm going to write down one thing that I'm thankful for about her.
I remember that. Yeah.
And he did that every day for a full year. And then on Thanksgiving, gave her this book of 365 things he was thankful for about her. And she was like, this is literally the best gift I've ever received in my life. Yeah. And why wouldn't it be?
Yeah,
you know?
So thoughtful.
He was like, even better than the Mercedes I bought her that same year.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
He snuck that in. He always sneaks in you know,
I am rich, by the way.
I made $400 million that year, but it was okay because I made her happy.
I don't think you made that much.
Nah, yeah. Just numbers.
But, sorry. Why would that not be such a good gift, you know? And then I was like, well, if she would be so happy about getting a gift of one thing she's thankful for about herself every day, or he's thankful for about her, why would I not want to get a gift of things I'm thankful for about myself?
From you.
From myself.
Right.
Why would I not write that down every day?
Deprive yourself from that.
Yeah,
right?
and it's amazing. So I do my journaling, and I kind of write down how my day went and stuff.
Sure.
And at the end, I'll usually include one thing that I'm thankful for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well,
it could be a plethora of different things. I could even be like, the Mets won today, you know?
Right,
Who knows?
Right.
But it is good to just, I don't know, keep positivity in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Not on a religious note, but I do think it's funny when people will say, like, you can never thank God for the Mets winning. You know, you can never say, God, thank you so much. The Mets won today. Thank you. Because it's like a trivial thing that, like, you shouldn't be concerning God with, whatever. But it's good to put that down. Like, you're happy that something happened, right? Like, thank you, God, for no traffic today. Like, maybe you just thank yourself for maintaining patience in that moment. Maybe you thank yourself for being a loyal fan to the Mets.
Yeah.
You know, like it's stupid little stuff, but that's what's making your life. Like, if you care about the Mets, why not recognize it? You know, why not be thankful for it or be appreciative of it? Because that's something you care about, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I personally don't think on the God scale you can thank God for whatever you want because you know it happened, and gratitude's always good. I don't think there's anything that's like, unless you're maliciously like, thank you that something bad happened, and not looking at a positive outcome, that would be an area. But overall, gratitude's a good thing.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to cover? We've been going at it a little bit here.
No. I'm sorry. I was...
Nothing.
No. I guess it would almost seem awkward if I didn't say anything now. I was thinking... It was interesting. A lot of the time I was writing gratitude. Not to get intimate here.
Okay.
I was writing thankful for how good of friends I have. And I think that's something really important to recognize. I know so many people that have gone through a lot. You lose friends to life, or to you just don't talk to them anymore.
Right.
And it's so important to reach out to everybody you know, but more so for yourself to know who you're thankful for knowing.
Right.
Right. because why would they know what you're thankful for? If
Right,
you don't even know
right. You
are?
gotta say, you gotta write it down, and then you gotta say it to them.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's cool too the way you specifically are just able to talk to anybody, and I think that's so special. I honestly am thinking one of my new goals I kind of want is to just not use my phone in public, because then I'm just going to be talking to more people.
Sure.
And everybody doesn't have to be a passing face. They're all human beings, and you can make so many good connections. And if we weren't all staring at our black box little vortex, like,
right.
I think we would be much happier together.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you as a
Thank
friend.
you.
Yeah, I think that's important. Because especially as guys, you're not like texting another dude like, I'm so thankful for you,
Well,
but
it's hard for girls too, because even if like sometimes that doesn't happen, and sometimes you hear it too much where it's just watered down, and it doesn't even mean anything.
Right, because they'll say it all the time, and then it's like, who are you truly thankful for? I mean, I would personally not like it to be that way for myself. Like, I shouldn't let some societal standard hold me back from telling the boys I love them, or that I appreciate them. So maybe that's a change that I need to make myself. Because ultimately it's gonna bring good to everybody involved. Even if they don't reciprocate, it's like I said it, and it's it's out there. So at least they know it now. Well, this has been great. What time do you think we're at right now?
33 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna go 28:47.
Okay.
You want to wrap it up?
What do you want me to say?
Nothing. We're just gonna put a bow on it. I'm just gonna say thank you for listening.
If you guys stuck out this whole thing, that's props to you.
Yeah. Truly.
And I hope I can come on again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jake is my roommate, so
Maybe we'll have deeper philosophical ones and just ponder life.
Absolutely. It's
always fun.
Jake and I are talking or arguing almost every day in a good way. We don't argue, we debate. So it's good to have you on.
Healthy.
I'm glad to introduce you. And I think, like you said, like, it truly does mean so much when you guys are watching these videos. If you watch it all the way through, like, I have so much respect, so much like gratitude for you taking the time out of your day. Like, that's 30 minutes. You could have been doing something else, and maybe you were multitasking, but I'm overjoyed by the responses. We know you're
trying to better yourself, and we're trying to give that to you. So.
Please reach out also if you want to come on, if you want to be featured, if you want us to talk about you. Reach out, hit our DMs. If you see something you're like, maybe you should add this in, boom, we'll get it in. We'll give you the recognition you deserve too for that idea.
It's a community we're trying to build, not just
right
forcing stuff down your throat.
Help us out. We'll help you out. Go ahead and drop something in the comments that you're thankful for. I think that's probably the good note on this episode. I want everybody to think about what they're thankful for, and drop that in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and we'll be back with another one here shortly. Yeah. So
I just want to say, it's summing up everything I said at the end there. It's just to remember that we're all in life together, and I think if we all realize that and act accordingly, we can have a better time together.
Absolutely, that's awesome. As always, what did you achieve today? Have a good one.